Hi everyone, my name is Kobe Warner. This is KOBLIZZY. Welcome back to the show. In this case, a late show, a late show. This episode is days late, and I kind of have an explanation. You might buy it, you might not, but let me peddle it to you, and you can let me know how you receive it. Maybe you don't care, but I'm gonna give you my excuse anyway. I visited my hometown. If you listened to last week's episode, you knew that after I made the episode and went to my acting class that day, I was going home, and I did that, and I visited my friends, and that was super fun. And I was there like right under a week, but those trips, I think the game's a little high. Those trips are always super fast paced, and you know that you're like trying to see this person, then this person, then this person, then this person. It gets a little tiring. And so I'm always left feeling kind of drained after I go on trips like that. And so I also mentioned in last week's episode that me and my best friend Jack were supposed to tape when I was in town. I took all the equipment with me in the car on the road trip. And we, were completely like prepared to do it, knew what we were going to talk about, but we just didn't end up taping the episode. Sometimes shit just happens like that. And so, yeah, we didn't tape the episode. And so then when I came home, I was just thinking I was going to have that episode of me and Jack to upload, but then I didn't have an episode taped. So I came home, I don't know, Friday. And then I usually tape the episodes on Saturday or Sunday to put up Monday. But then I was just really tired those days. And so I didn't do it. And then on Monday, I was like, well, maybe I can make it now and then do it. And then I didn't. You know that meme where it's like the nurse taking it's like, well, let's get you to your room, ma'am. And it's like the lady in the wheelchair and they're like trying to get her to her room. And they'll like say crazy stuff and be like, oh, let's get you to your room, ma'am. That was me with me trying to get me to make the podcast. I was like, let's get you to your podcast station, Kobe. And I just could not drag myself there. I just couldn't do it. And so anyway, that's why I didn't post the episode. That's why I posted it late. Really, when it says new episode every Monday in my bio on @KOBLIZZY show on Instagram and TikTok, that really just means that's about when the episode will come. It is a suggestion. It is not heavily implied. It's more like lightly implied. So anyway, that's why the episode's late, because I didn't make it. That's quite literally the only reason. And I really didn't make it twice, because me and Jack were supposed to film and then we didn't, and then I was supposed to tape a backup episode when I got home and then I didn't. So 2 times over. Hopefully it's not 3 strikes you're out, because I would have been out a long time ago. I know if you're watching the video, you saw me grab this Emma Chamberlain coffee. You might be shocked to see these. You know I'm not a huge fan of the flavor. I love Emma Chamberlain, not the flavor of these coffees, but this is the last one in my fridge, and it's actually the Cinnabon flavor, which is my least preferred of the 4. But I added some like caramel syrup to it, like that we just have at home, like simple syrup, caramel syrup. And so it made it a little better. Yeah, these are just so coconutty. I'm like, something about coffee and coconut don't go to me. Maybe if you like that, you'll get it, but I don't. I'm just trying to get this out of my fridge, to be honest. But you notice how I'm having to chase it with LaCroix. I don't like the aftertaste. Anyway, let's get into the song of the week. Before we get into the topic, the song of the week is Told Ya by Chloe featuring Missy Elliott. I love me some Chloe Bailey, more so after I saw her live in Atlanta, I must admit. I've loved Chloe and Halle for years, but seeing Chloe live with Halle actually, but also alone, doing her own songs and putting on a show, I'm like, she is a talented girl, and she's going to be around for a while, for sure. She has staying power because she's a good performer, and in my opinion, music sales are not the best way to measure an artist's success nowadays. It's tour demand, because people stream music. They don't buy music. Unless you're like me, going out to buy CDs, or you collect vinyls and you're going out to buy vinyls, or you're one of the 5 people that still buy music on iTunes. You're not buying music. You're probably paying for a subscription and listening to it. And so artists don't make a lot of money off of that. And so I think tour demand is the best way to tell, unless you're like Taylor Swift and you're scoring like 80 million streams a day on Spotify right now, because that's fucking insane, dog. Like, she's literally getting so many streams daily on Spotify because her tour is just so huge and so poppin' and so successful. And so the song of the week is Chloe, Told Ya, featuring Missy Elliott. Speaking of that tour that I just mentioned, Miss Taylor Swift, I want to talk about concert tours, specifically stadium tours, but not Taylor Swift. I've talked about hers pretty in depth. I want to talk about another very exciting tour that the bees are buzzing about. The Renaissance World Tour has started over in Europe. I think it started in like Sweden, and then it was in like Stockholm, and it's in Belgium. It's been a couple places. And I have seen like some videos. I must admit, like, I've been watching some videos. I would love to be the bitch that's like, oh, I'm gonna delete TikTok and not watch any videos, so it's a complete shock. No, ma'am, I want to know what's going on. Like, I want to know so I can be prepared where I need to look. I want to know the tea, because this tour is like crazy. There's like robots and shit. Beyonce really popped off. And she's still in Europe, so it's like not even in America yet. She won't be in America for a while, I think. I'm seeing her in July. I know the Atlanta dates are in like August. So, yeah, she's not going to be over here for a minute, but she's over in Europe right now, you know, voguing the house down, or the dancers around her are rather voguing the house down. Honey Balenciaga's out there, lots of other ballroom performers. And it's really like, she is gender neutral. Like, it says Beyonce, like, Renaissance World Tour, gender neutral restrooms, like, plastered over the bathroom signs in all the stadiums. And I'm like, honestly, she's really doing the thing. Like, she said, this is gonna be the gay era. Like, I'm leaning into the LGBTQ representation, allyship of it all. And I respect it. I love that my mother, Beyonce, like, I love Taylor Swift. I love Ariana Grande. I love, you know, Miley Cyrus. I love Lady Gaga. But I am obsessed with Beyonce. Beyonce is mother. Beyonce is God to me, almost. Don't get offended. I know it's a sin to have false idols and shit, but like, if there is anybody that's worthy of being a false idol, baby, it's Beyonce. So anyway, I'm just so excited to see this Renaissance World Tour. I always was, but seeing all these tour videos and stuff is making me like more over excited, like way more excited. It's a production. The costumes are cool. It's like futuristic. The visuals are always top tier with Beyonce. And it really seems like she's having fun. There's this one video of her doing Heated that's going viral. Like the 10, tip on hardwood floors, 10s across the board. Face, yeah, face card never declines, my God, that part. Eat it. Yummy, make it bummy heated. Make a pretty girl talk that shitty. Some of my son, whisk glitter on my kitty. That part. She's chewing it. And so that went viral. And then there's another one, and it's during the Break My Soul X Vogue My Madonna remix. Come on, and she's like, what? And then she like skips down. It's just, she looks like she's having fun is all. I love Beyonce. And so in preparation for seeing her on July 15th, I'm trying to watch all of her tour documentaries. And well, not just tour documentaries. I'm trying to watch like Life is But a Dream, which documents like self-titled album. Kinda. I'm going to watch the Lemonade movie again. I already watched all the Beyonce self-titled album tour videos on Apple Music, because that was the first of her visual albums, so it had like a music video for every song. But she also put like a tour video EP. How many times can you say tour, Kobe? Like a tour video, like 5 or 6 actually. A tour video EP on Apple Music that I watched a couple of weeks ago. And I'm gonna watch the Life is But a Dream. I watched the Beyonce Experience from like 2006 or 7 the other night. I'm gonna watch the I Am World Tour. I'm gonna watch the I Am like something else. There's another like one like at Rose. Well, there's 4 at Roseland. There's hella videos. There's like 10. And so I got a lot of homework to do. I've seen like 4 or 5 of them, and I got about 4 or 5 more to watch. And so I'm trying to watch all the tour documentaries. I'll rewatch Homecoming. I'll watch Black is King on Disney Plus. I'm trying to get all the tour stuff, all the visual movies and stuff, and just really like prepare for seeing Beyonce and like really make it like a ritualistic thing, because I love her, and this will be my second time seeing her on tour. And so, yeah, it's a thing to me. I'm really making an event out of it, and I'm kind of like starting to brainstorm what I'm gonna wear, and I'm excited for that. I kind of learned my Taylor Swift outfit was cute, but those heeled boots, I'm not doing them again. I'm gonna wear a flat to Beyonce, but I'll do it in a cunty way. I promise. um, so yeah, super excited for Beyonce. And I think one of the things I love so much about Beyonce is that I've loved her for a long time. Same reason I love Ariana Grande, Taylor Swift, Lady Gaga, Miley Cyrus. It's that I've loved them like my entire life, and so I'm gonna keep supporting and keep loving because I appreciate how they've been around my life and for like a decade each, all of them at least. And so that's like really a special bond, like a special parasocial bond that you have with, you know, super famous people who have longevity, is that if you continue to follow them, there's kind of like the parasocial bond grows. You feel bonded to these people. I feel like Beyonce is literally my mother. I feel like she's my auntie, like my actual family member. Miley Cyrus is fully my cousin that I want to fuck. Yee, Alabama vibes. Taylor Swift is my good government neighbor. I'm the boy in the "You Belong with Me" music video, holding out the signs up against the window, but then I later came out as gay. Like, and that's the same boy from Hannah Montana the movie with Miley Cyrus. You see all the connections? Like, it's just like that's my childhood, dog. And I think the reason, or rather, I know the reason that I love these people so much is the nostalgia that comes with loving them. I recently have been like kind of converting to all Apple products. I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's like I have an iPhone, I've had a Mac for like a long time. So like I've kind of already really used the ecosystem. Like all my information is buried in the iCloud. And like all my goods, all my business, all my photos, all my notes, everything is really like in the Apple universe. And so outside of that, I had like a Fire Stick for my TV and like, you know, other technologies. And I was like, the integration of Apple products and the integration of like using one ecosystem of products, it's kind of like no other. And so for me, I really am, I have a preference for Apple products and the Apple ecosystem. And so I got an Apple TV. I replaced my Fire Stick with an Apple TV 4K. And I got a HomePod, which is like the Apple version of Alexa. And I got my mama HomePod. Mother's Day just passed. Happy belated Mother's Day to all the mothers. I got my mama HomePod for Mother's Day. And so like I'm really like trying to integrate this, you know, Apple ecosystem. Because then I can be like, hey, Siri, set a reminder for 4 o'clock on my phone to edit the podcast.
Okay, Kobe, I added on my phone to edit the podcast for this
He
afternoon.
said, okay, Kobe, I added on my phone to edit the podcast for this afternoon at 4. It's like, you can do that. I can also be like, turn the TV on. I can also be like, play this song on this. And so while I have been going through all these steps to like integrate my life out, you guys might think that's so silly, but I really am going through the efforts to like really make everything Apple products. And I'm basically there. I think I'm gonna get an Apple Watch. A lot of people think Apple Watches are dumb, a waste of money. But like, if I only use it to say, please tell me where my phone is, and then it plays the sound on my phone, okay, that's good enough for me. I lose my phone like 20 times a day. If you're my friend, you know me. I'm gonna say, where's my phone? Where are my keys? Oh my God, I literally lost my debit card when I was at home. Just randomly. I don't even know where really. I just lost my debit card and I didn't notice until the next morning. And so then I hurried to my bank account and I looked in and I was like, oh my God, please, 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 please let nobody have spent my money. And nobody did. So I locked it and then I looked around and I couldn't find it. And I asked my friends, they couldn't find it in their cars or anything. So then I canceled it. And then like an hour later, I get a notification that somebody tried to use it. So it was like perfect timing that I had got I became privy to the information that I'd lost my debit card, and then I was quick to lock it and then subsequently cancel it, order another one. And then I Zelled all my money to my mom and then had her Venmo it to me because I also have a Venmo debit card. So then I literally was just reliant on my Venmo debit card the rest of the time I was home. It was a mess. But anyway, I'm prone to losing things, and you can't say, "Hey Siri, find my debit." Oh, excuse me, "Hey Siri, stop, don't listen." You can't say, "Beep, please find my debit card," the same way you can say, "Beep, please find my phone." You can't. If I say "find my phone" right now after I say "beep," then it'll play a sound on my phone.
Looking for your iPhone.
See. Bitch, I told you not to listen. Why'd you say looking for your iPhone? Hey Siri, stop it. Don't do it. I'm dead. That is so funny. I'm saying beep and that bitch is still listening. Yeah, the government really is on us. Like, I'm really still coming. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid of all this government spying shit. And just like the episode of American Dad where they're like, "Oh, it's been compromised." Just now, I compromised their asses. They about to come kill me because I'm on to you, bitch. I'm on to y'all. All jokes aside, though, the reason I actually am so interested in converting to Apple products is because apparently their security is... It's finding my phone right now. Apparently their security is more secure than, other brands, especially recently. A lot of the recent iOS updates have had a focus on personal privacy, personal security, the security of your information. You can actually encrypt all of your iCloud data if you'd like, where they can't even access most of it, and you are only the one that can get into it with special codes and stuff. So there is a reason I'm interested in doing this. But back to the topic at hand. Of course, converting to all Apple things kind of involves Apple Music too, because with this Apple TV and with this HomePod, with this iPhone and with this Mac, the integration of all of these products it is natural because they are all of the same brand. Spotify, you can play it on the HomePod and you can use the Spotify app on the Apple TV, but it's purposefully less good on these products because Apple is really hammering that you use in-house applications and not third-party applications. And so Apple Music just naturally, seamlessly integrates better with the HomePod, specifically with the Apple TV. The Apple Music app on the Apple TV is fire. The lyrics are so clean. It's just like, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I am. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid of these overpriced pieces of metal. I really am. But anyway, I'm a Spotify user. I used Apple Music from 2016 to 2020. In 2020, then I briefly tried Tidal for a couple of months because I was obsessed with Beyonce and Jay-Z by association, just like I continue to be. The reason I switched away from Tidal after a few months is because I didn't know anybody that used it, and so I felt like kind of out on a little isolated music island, and I really would have rather participate with people than try to be different and have good sound quality. But now Apple Music offers good sound quality like Tidal used to, but Apple Music doesn't charge any extra for it. So Tidal has kind of become obsolete. So anyway, I only had Tidal for a couple of months in 2020. I switched to Spotify in December of 2020, and I've had Spotify now for, 2.5 years. At this point, I've had Apple Music 2 times longer if we're looking at the length of my life, because I had it for many years at a time, way a long time ago. And so anyway, I'm familiar with Apple Music is my point. And so I've slowly been moving my music collection and my playlist over to Apple Music, just because when I'm using Apple Music, I've also mentioned in the car that Spotify will endlessly skip and never stop skipping for no reason in my car, and Apple Music doesn't do that. That's another reason I like Apple Music. And so anyway, I still have my Spotify account and all of that, and I really am just giving you all this long-winded ass boring information, maybe you think, because when I was doing the transferring of the music library and I was going through all my playlists, the reason this is so important to me is because my playlists are incredibly comprehensive. I actually talked about my playlisting technique. I do say technique. I take it that seriously. In the very first episode of this podcast, that's literally was the topic, was music and talking about my playlist. And I actually make my playlist a little bit differently now than I did then. I organize them in a way that's a little more broad. Used to be really, really specific and became a little bit of a task. It was a little more challenging than it should be because listening to music should be fun, and I was turning it into a job. Because I used to like playlist by month, you know, and then I'd be like, oh, let me make a playlist by seasons. And then I was like, let me just do it by like eras. And so now I do playlists, and like, for example, I have a playlist for my entire childhood, from the moment I was born, all the music that I remember throughout my childhood, all the way till the end of 8th grade. I call that playlist the Wonder Years, because those are really like my years of just, you know, being lost and, you know, floating in a river and just going wherever the you know, breeze went. It was, you know, you're a kid, you don't know any better. And then after that, I have my high school playlist. And then after that, I have my quarantine playlist from where my senior year got cut short because of the pandemic. And I didn't go to college for like a year until after that because of the pandemic. So it was like this really long lull period. It's called quarantine. Then after that, I have my college playlist that goes from the end of quarantine up until the time I dropped out. Then I have my dropout playlist, which is like my era of dropping out and kind of like recovering and, you know, recharging after having a traumatic school experience. And now I'm on my 2023 playlist. It doesn't have an interesting name yet. The names usually come after. And so I don't know what era this is. But my point is my playlists are a little bit more broad. And they're very important to me because they're filled with memories. I attach memories to all of the songs and all these playlists. And they're very methodically placed. Everything's really well thought out. I spent a lot of time on these playlists, on whatever platform they were being made on at the time. And so I transfer them around when I do all this crazy music platform switching. And I say crazy switching. I switched to Spotify 3 years ago. Before that, I had Apple Music for years. So it's not like crazy switching around, but it kind of feels like it when you're doing it. But I don't know. Apple Music's just kind of taking it. And that's not really what I'm talking about. It's more the nostalgia. But I just have to shout out the sound quality. It's so good on Apple Music. And the lyrics function is better. I've mentioned all these things before. But the topic here is supposed to be nostalgia. Going through these playlists, my Wonder Years playlist, my high school playlist, the same way I attach memories to smells is the same way I attach songs to memories, memories to moments, music to moments. I like going to these eras playlists and playing them because I'll shuffle it and a song will come up and I'll be like, oh, I was here and we were doing this. And it was me and this person and this is the day it was, or this was the month, or this was the season. And there's something so special in that. And I think it speaks to the value of nostalgia. I think we as a people really love nostalgia because our lives, in the grand scheme of things, are short. And we really don't realize how quickly time has passed, or we don't realize how quickly time passes until it has passed. And so it's a lot of retrospective looking back on things rather than, you know, being present in moments and really appreciating them, or, you know, looking forward and somehow predicting the future. You can't do that. So all you have is the present and the past. So all you can either do is be present or be retrospective, and oftentimes we choose retrospective, or at least I do in my experience. And so really what I'm saying is that our memories are really valuable, because even though memories are a past thing, and even though we have already lived them, they are still ours. They are still our lived experiences, and you still own your memories. And that's why I think like the most traumatic thing to happen would be like to have Alzheimer's or dementia. It's like cancer takes you out, or you recover. I'm sorry to like bring up really traumatic things that all of us are, you know, kind of universally affected by. But I'm saying like cancer is an illness you can recover from sometimes. Alzheimer and dementia, baby, that's just your memory. And really, our memories are all that we have. The recollection of the moments that have made us happy, sad, or otherwise is all we have, or the physical manifestations of those things. But these physical objects don't get to come with us. My memory boxes full of medals and trophies and, you know, tickets and cards, those things aren't real. I mean, they are, but not in my soul, not in my spirit. And so music is important to me, and those playlists are important to me, because that is one thing I'll always have. No matter if it's on Spotify or Apple Music, no matter if I burn it onto a CD, no matter if it's a mixtape, no matter if it's, you know, a playlist of YouTube songs with ads in between them. Those songs and those memories are so invaluable. You cannot place a dollar sign on them. And you always have them with you, thank God, for these little computers in our pockets. And so, as much as technology is like dumbing people, it's making us dumb and stupid because you don't have to learn anything or remember anything because you can just, bookmark it on Safari or, type it into a Google search. And so, as much as that's not ideal, and as much as it's not ideal that the government, hey Siri, is listening to us at any given moment. So now it's not listening. Ridiculous. But my point is that these technological advances are not always the best thing, but the way it allows me to walk around with my memories in my pocket, my your camera roll. Imagine if we still had physical photos that you had to keep in photo albums all the time and drag with you everywhere. You couldn't just go in your camera roll and look at the favorited photos that you have. Like, there are certain things that to me help us memorialize our life. And I think that's something we should do more. Be present. Yes, that's the most important thing. But also memorialize your memories. Your memories are yours. And the good or bad or otherwise. Some things obviously we don't want to remember. But there is nostalgia is unique because it's happy and sad. It's bitter and sweet. And looking back is not always a happy, positive thing. But we've learned something from essentially everything that's happened to us. And some things I'm sure are too brutal and horrible to really, memorialize in a way that's positive. But there's a lot of things in our life that we really learned from, no matter if they made us cry in the moment, no matter if we scraped our knees or our elbows, figuratively or literally. It's our life and it's ours. And I'm happy. My 21st birthday is less than a month away. It's about 3 weeks away, and I feel fortunate to be so young and to feel like I have some sort of grasp over this idea. Nostalgia is valuable, and a lot of people would pay good, hard-earned cash money for their youth. So if you still have it, you should value that. But a lot of dead folks, I'm sure, would be pretty happy to be alive. And so if you're alive, no matter how old you are, you should value that. It's a gift. Every day is. And no matter if you think of that in like a thank God for this kind of day way, or if you're just like, I'm happy I'm alive, thank you, universe. No matter how you think about it, it's true. And I'm just happy to have another day. And so I'm kind of tired right now and sluggish still from this trip. And sometimes there's this like melancholia that I just kind of feel in the summertime. But there's also a melancholia I feel. I think that I just kind of am prone to melancholia. But that's another story. My point is there's like a summertime sadness, not to be a Lana Del Rey gay. But there's like a sadness that comes in the summertime sometimes. And so, anyway, even in the thick of that, even though I'm drudging through it, I'm grateful for every day. And so, yeah, the topic of this episode was really kind of nostalgia, even though I veer into many other places. And I keep saying I'm going to give you guys story times, and I've really not circled back to doing that yet. But I'll get there to eventually, I promise. I'm supposed to do it with Jack, which will also happen eventually, just maybe not anytime soon. If I'm being honest, we're both too ADHD for our own good. But it'll be a good episode when it comes. So you should stick around. You should follow or subscribe depending on whatever platform you're on, YouTube, Spotify for the video, Apple Music, or Apple Podcasts rather, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, wherever you may be listening to the audio or watching the video. Thank you for being here. Like the video, leave a review, give me stars, all of the above. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your listening ears, your open hearts. Thanks. I'm happy to be here, late or not, and hopefully I will be back next week on time, but I will get here nonetheless. I just can't assure you it will be on Monday, but like I said, fingers crossed. Bye, you guys. Thanks for tuning in.